Friday. We got that big dub last night, right? Chiefs fans here?
Whoop, whoop.
Swifty fans here? No? Good. Awesome. Awesome. I don't think it's a real relationship either, but we won't dive too deep into that. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I am from Manhattan, Kansas. I'm a real estate agent here right now. That's my business. I have a company in town called Alliance Realty. Not Alliance Property Management, please, that's not me. I do not rent homes or manage your rentals. I just help people buy and sell homes. I'm the broker there, so I have 17 agents. And let me see if we can get this screen thing to work. There we go, awesome. So that's my company. So I actually am from Manhattan, like I said, Manhattan High grad. Barely K-State grad. I got my BS here in theater, so that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in theater, wanted to perform, and I thought that was the way that I was heading. Married my high school sweetheart, and 3 months later, she got pregnant, and we brought our firstborn home on our 1-year anniversary. So theater wasn't really in the cards because I had to get a big boy job, so I was like, let's just do real estate. Don't know why I wanted to real estate, but when I got into it, I found this passion for entrepreneurship, this passion for being creative, and I was really excited about that. I was looking at my cohorts from K-State, and they were struggling actors, and I just found that I can get my creative outlet in business, in entrepreneurship. So that was a really good financial decision for me. Started to become a real estate agent in Kansas City about 15 years ago and moved back to Manhattan and started this company 13 years ago, Alliance Realty. We are the second largest real estate company in Manhattan. We have sold close to $90 million last year in real estate. So we have a lot of great professionals. One thing that I'm really proud about my company is most of my agents come from not being a real estate agent to having a career. So everybody in that group, I trained from when they were doing nothing to now having a thriving real estate career to feed their family. The reason why that's unique is a lot of real estate agents, they transfer brokerages. They just look for the best deals. But I love the culture of my company. And Megan Plattner over here, she was actually my secretary at one point. She was in the entrepreneurship college, and she's probably our top producer. So she does really well. She makes way over 6 figures every year. She just got married. So yeah, real estate is a fun, lucrative, nice financial decision to maybe consider for entrepreneurship. Other things that I've done in my real estate career, I have gotten into flipping homes. I own rentals in town, just about a handful. And that's done really well for me. And I also got big into when I had extra time, I decided, hey, let's start a co-work space in Manhattan. Started a co-work space, found out that business model is not very good. Didn't make a lot of money at that, so we flipped it. It's actually a non-for-profit in Manhattan, Kansas that's funded by the city. We get about $300,000 a year for funding, and we are in charge of entrepreneurship in the Manhattan community outside of K-State. So it's a big need. It's a big need for small businesses in Manhattan. You're going to find that you're going to get out of K-State, and if you're going to start a business, there's not going to be too many people that are going to be there to hold your hands. And it really doesn't take much to get from start to where your business is up and running and moving. The problem is within that gap, there's nobody there to help you. There's no one there to guide you. You have everything going against you. You got everything in your brain saying, that's not a good idea. No one's going to support it. It's really not going to work. No one likes me. All that noise, or it's too complicated, I didn't get a business degree, or whatever the lie is, that noise and that time it takes to fill those gaps, it's not that hard. So that's why I have my non-for-profit. We're there to fill those gaps. We're there to make sure that from start of your idea to actually seeing if it's viable and then getting it up and running. So I wanted to kind of highlight on myself a little bit. Let's see if I missed anything. Yeah, the next big thing. So like I said, I'm excited with my free time to be creative. and start projects. So this is my next big project. This is a building that I bought about a year and a half ago. This is the Ag Press building. This is over there on 15th Street in Yuma. As you can see, we can't do anything inside the building because we're not zoned and we don't have fire suppression systems, so we can't actually have population inside the building. But we're having concerts outside, which is pretty cool. But this is kind of the dream right here. Actually, I'll just share the real dream that's up and running. Have you guys ever been to Serve in Kansas City? You ever been to a Chicken and Pickle? You ever been to a food hall in Kansas City? There's some food halls, the Iron District, Parlor. These are the big inspirations that I have for Manhattan, Kansas. I want to take this big old building. It's about 40,000 square feet. I want to retrofit it. I want to make it beautiful. It's already beautiful. It's actually on the historical registry. It looks really cool. Big warehouse, a lot of opportunities, and I want to make it so that Manhattan would have a place to go, a different, maybe district to go to. We all have Aggieville. We know what that's for. We all have downtown for restaurants. We know what that's for. We're hoping to give you a different vibe, a different feel, and maybe a different option in Manhattan, because usually that's what most people complain about is there's just not enough stuff to do here in Manhattan. So yeah, I'm excited about this. For you guys, I'd also plug this. If any of you are interested in helping me start a pickleball, food and beverage, concert, entertainment spot in Manhattan, please feel free to contact me. I'm not going to be running these things. I just start them and I find somebody who wants to lease them from me. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm getting the building to a place where these things can happen, and that's kind of the spark that I like working on. But my day job is real estate. That's what I do, and also taking care of my family. I didn't mention I got 3 boys, so life is very busy. We're doing all types of sports every night, and we're just trying to find time to get this big property off the ground. All right, perfect. Now you know about me. Let me try to add some value to you guys today. So one thing that I like to teach about to clients and agents and people that come to me and they say, hey, Derek, I think investing in real estate is a good idea. I say, yeah, I think it is too. But what does that really mean? How do you get from, okay, I want to buy an investment property to understanding, is it a good investment? That's what this sheet is going to show you. So, guys, this is very simple. This is very easy to understand. You do not have to have this huge, complicated system to learn how to invest in real estate. And I guarantee you, if you focus on this, this could be possibly the number one reason why you could retire young. This could be one of the number one reasons why you can do the work that you want to do because your money is working for you constantly around the clock. Investing sooner than later is a great idea. So let me break down what it looks like to identify a real estate property and see if you guys want to invest in it. So this is my simple little investment worksheet that I break down. This is we're going to actually go through a property that I just put on the market yesterday. So here, let me go over here so I can use the cursor. Okay. So the price of the home is $180,000. I just put a 4-bedroom, 2-bath home on the market yesterday. It's actually set up for Airbnb. My clients use it as an Airbnb. So we're going to look at how does that investment work? What kind of money can we bring in? Well, you're going to buy it for $180,000. Interest rates are high right now. You're going to be told that constantly. It's very true. I think interest rates just hit the all-time high yesterday in 20-some years. That's okay. If you use the worksheet, the investment can still work for you. So don't be scared by high interest rates. Because again, as inflation goes up and interest rates go up, rents go up. So if rents go up, you're still investing well, right? Everything's still going up. Whether inflation going up is a good thing, that's a totally another conversation. But yeah, so let's take a look at, let's diagnose this property. All you would have to do with this worksheet, and I'm actually working on a web-based application so that everybody can have this and you can just go to this website, plug your numbers in, and then it'll give you the information. So, but if you're really interested in this, feel free to talk to me. This is not proprietary or anything. I give this out to hundreds of people all the time. Okay, stay on focus. So we're buying a house for $180,000, right? We're going to get an interest rate for 7.5%. We got to pay our yearly taxes. So that's the number right there. We got to pay our yearly taxes. Down payment. Okay, this is probably going to be the big one, right, guys? You're going to have to come up with 20% of the property to buy your first investment property. I've been there. I started with zero money in my bank account. I started with debt. Now I do have wealth. So we've all started there. Cha-ching, whatever that was. So that $36,000, that could come from a parent, a grandparent. If it has to just come from you and you have to grind to get that $36,000, that's okay. Now you know what you got to do. You know what's in front of you. But when I started my first investment property, I think it was around $86,000. We worked to figure out the down payment, and when we got it. Don't let that number scare you, okay? So we have your down payment. We have 20%. The interest rate is going to be amortized over 30 years, and then we're going to have to pay insurance. You pay for insurance of the property in case the roof gets blown off, in case you have a tornado, all those things. The other thing that I want to highlight is the income. So this property has historically brought in $3,000 a month. So we're just going to average it at $2,500 a month. And then you're going to have some closing costs. Closing costs are the amount that the bank's going to charge you to loan you money. To loan you that to loan you that $144,000, the bank charges you money up front to do that. Questions? Does this make sense? Okay. Am I making sense? Do I need to explain any of these cells yet? Perfect. You guys are awesome. Estimated monthly utilities. So, sorry, that should say annual utilities. What that number is you know when you go to an Airbnb, guess what they're paying for? They're paying for your water, your gas, your electricity. They're paying for internet. Did I already say that? They're paying for your cable package. All those things. So we're just going to say $300 a month. That's what's going to pay for this little tiny townhouse Airbnb. That's in there. So again, that's basically it. We could put a management fee in there. We could put an advertisement fee, any sort of miscellaneous things. We can put that within these cells. So then we go to the handout. We go to the fun part. Okay. Here we go. So financing, 20% down, 30-year loan. It's conventional. This address is wrong. Don't pay attention to that. The purchase price, $180,000. Okay? We got that $36,000 again that you're going to have to come up with, or someone's going to have to help you with. We're going to finance $144,000 over 30 years, right? So what we're really trying to analyze is the cash that I'm taking out of my bank account to invest in a real estate property. That's all I want you guys to focus on. This is how you become rich. You focus on how am I investing? Am I investing? So what we really want to calculate is I took $39,000. 39 is the closing costs plus the money that I took out of my bank account. The $39,000 is the money that I took out of my bank account to infuse it in the Manhattan real estate market. How is that going to perform? That's all we want to focus on. How does what does $39,000 do for me in the first year after I put it in this investment? Because that's what real estate is. Real estate to me are just tiny little ATM cash machines. I want to know how much cash am I pulling out of that tiny ATM machine every year, right? Also, I should explain the 4 main benefits of real estate. 1, the tenants pay your debt. Remember that $144,000 that we got to amortize over 30 years? You're not paying that. Your tenants are. You guys are probably tenants. You guys are paying that for your landlord that owns that property. Your tenants are paying that, not the investor, okay? The other benefit is the principal. Your principal, that $144,000 that I'm loaning from the bank, that goes down every year. I'm not trying to say you didn't understand that, but that's what happens. It goes down. So that money is invested in your pocket. We need to calculate that. It's not liquid. It's not in your bank account, but it's in the investment, right? So after 10 years, when I go sell this investment property, I'm going to get a big check because I had all that equity. That's what equity is. So we want to calculate that. The third thing is you do get to defer some of your investment costs on your tax return. Don't spend too much time there. It's not that big of a deal. It does help you in tax time, and once you have 3 or 4 properties going, you're really going to make sure you're really going to want to make sure that you're handling your taxes at the end of the year correctly, because there is some depreciation benefit that you get from homes. But for you guys, don't worry about that. Investments are your tenants are paying it down, and or your tenants are paying the debt service, and you're making equity every year. The fourth one, is appreciation. We're not going to calculate appreciation. Appreciation is just a fancy word for your home is worth more next year. It's going to go up in value, as we've seen. Real estate is going up in value. It constantly is, historically. We're not going to calculate that. We're going to consider that the cherry on top after our investment. So we want to calculate those 3 main things. So here we go. We have a 7% interest rate over 30 years. Our monthly principal and interest payment that we have to pay the bank is $1,000. $1,007, sorry. We're going to get to depreciate the property. Like I said, don't spend too much time there. Income. All right. This is the fun part. We want to calculate how much money we're bringing in. Someone remember what our monthly rate was?
7.5.
Oh, sorry. How much rent was the owner getting every month? What was that sell? I said it could bring in $3,000, but we're going to average it at $2,500, right? What are you guys paying rent? Does anybody pay $2,500 a month in rent? No. So Airbnbs are really good ideas right now. I have a few rentals that have you guys in them. And that's fine too, but Airbnbs right now, they are yielding so high, so they are really good investments right now. So what we're doing with that $2,500 a month is we times it by 12. That gives us our annual operating rent, and then we have less vacancy. The less vacancy is 5%. What we want to do with our investment sheet, and what I talked about with investors all the time, is we want to be conservative. We don't want to we call it blue sky. We don't want to just paint this amazing picture, because if it doesn't happen, then we're in trouble, right? We made a bad investment. No, we want to take the current state of the property and we kind of want to knock it down a little bit. Say, hey, what happens if the renter leaves on the last month? Let's just put a 5% vacancy rate in there. So we're going to minus the $30,000 from the $1,500. And that gives us a GOI with our gross operating income of $28,500. One more step is we have to pay our expenses. Again, we have to pay our real estate taxes. You can't get out of that, or your property will get taken by the city. We need to pay our insurance. You have to pay your insurance. You actually won't get a loan unless you have mortgage or homeowner's insurance on it. So it's a necessary evil. You have to have it. You also want it in case, a storm comes through, like I said, or your house burns down. You want to make sure that those things are protected. And we're going to pay those utilities. I don't know why it's on this advertisement. Don't pay attention to that. So anyways, total expenses for the year, $74.85. Derek, what does all this mean? These are a lot of numbers. What should we care about? This final part right here. Remember the 4 main benefits? So right here, we're going to be looking at our cash flow before tax. Our gross operating income, the rent that I was getting every year minus that less vacancy rate, right? Okay, that was $28,500. This is the money that this little ATM machine was making. Minus all those operating expenses, the taxes, the insurance, that Cox cable bill or WTC cable bill, whatever it is, which gives us our net. So I have $21,000 now, right? We're not done yet. We have to pay the bank back because they gave us a loan. We have principal and interest payments. So our cash flow before tax on this property is almost $9,000. This is the big question. I'm not going to answer this for you. My investors are going to answer it for me. Is $9,000 good? Off out of the close to $40,000 that I put in the bank in the first year? I don't know. It's going to be up to you guys to tell me. But as you get into investing and as you understand markets, I don't know if any of you do make any sort of investments right now in the stock market, but you're probably wondering what my interest rate, what kind of return am I going to get? So that's what we're going to calculate next. Principal reduction, again, those awesome tenants paid down that debt that I owed the bank. So actually I netted $1,300 in my principal going down. It's not liquid money, but it goes down, and I do want to calculate it because once I sell that property, then it goes into my bank account. Okay, tax saved. I made too much money, so I have to pay the IRS. Not a bad thing. On this sheet, if you have to pay money for tax saved, that's a good thing. That means you made a lot of money. In appreciation, I can't predict the future, so I do not estimate appreciation. But I will tell you, homes appreciate. And if you take care of your rental, they appreciate. Historically, I have actually never seen properties not appreciate in every market that I've been in, especially Manhattan. Homes just keep going up in value. In fact, that appreciation play, you're going to see that a lot on Florida, California, Austin. A lot of these investors are investing in places not because the numbers work, just because they think it's going to appreciate. They go, hey, we think this big building is going to appreciate 10 to 15% over the next 2 years, and it's going to keep doing that. A lot of investors do that. It's risky. I don't do that. I'd rather have the numbers work and be a little bit more secure. All right, here we go. Cash on cash return. We got $9,000, right, guys? And we spent $39,000 in the first year to get it. My cash on cash return for the first year is 22.9%. What do you guys think? Is that good?
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah.
How do you know that?
It's like double what you'd get with a really aggressive like strategy in like index funds and stocks.
Yeah. I have a lot of financial advisors, and when I show them these numbers, they can't touch it. They can't go to clients and go, hey, I'm going to financially advise you in the stock market to get these numbers. This is normal for what I invest in. I try to do better than this. This is normal. I'll put it this way. You're getting your cash back in your investment in almost 4 years. Think about that. And then once you get your cash back, guess what? You get to do another one. You get to do another one. This compounds on itself. This is what I'm talking about when I'm saying you can almost get a retirement plan set up within the first 10 years of your career because you have 5 or 6 rental properties. I'm not joking. Guys, I barely graduated high school. I cheated my way through K-State. And all my cohorts that did really good, I make way more money than them because I just understand this principle. Just invest. It's going to take time. You'll get there. We're not done yet, though. Cap rates. Cap rates is this fancy word that if I had $180,000 in my bank account and I just wanted to throw it all at the investment property, which you can do, I'm going to get close to 11% return on that money within the first year. That's still really good. There are people that play in cap rates. You're going to find a lot of elderly or people that are retiring. They're going to retire. They're going to get paid out, or they're going to find out that they're just going to be sitting on a ton of cash, or they already have a bunch of cash built up because they put it in the stock market. If you want to go to mom and dad and say, "Hey, let's liquidate $180,000 or $200,000. Let's go buy an investment property," I think we can beat what you're getting right now. And that's what cap rates are for. Now, the whole picture. We want to calculate the cash flow before tax, the principal reduction, because my principal went down. That's real money. It's just not liquid, but it's in my investment. So it's saying within and the tax saved, but we didn't save any tax. We had to pay some money, which is fine. $10,726 within the first year. Are you guys buying this property? Why would you not buy this property? Yeah, it's pretty good. I like those numbers. I would be okay as a real estate agent signing that contract for $180,000. We don't even need to negotiate. As long as we get through the inspections and there's no really big ticket items and the property's been well taken care of, I'm ready to go. Questions? Yeah.
How often do you like deal with loss from like foundation issues or like just other kinds of like major issues that can happen with the property?
Yeah. So you're talking about what if the house is junk, right? If the property's bad. Again, this worksheet is great for my investors because once we get to these numbers, they go, Derek, anything over 25%, we are very interested. We're ready to sign a contract today. And then we're going to go look at the home. And then we look at the home and we go, oh, I understand. The foundation sucks. I got to put a new roof on it. The HVAC is old. I got about $30,000 more that I got to put in this thing to make it work. We're just kind of we're going to make a decision about that. There is a way to kind of plug those numbers into the investment worksheet. But in theory, sometimes when you invest more money into a rental, the rents go up. So you have to be very cautious of that as well. It's not always gloom and doom, but sometimes there's a reason for rents being high, or a lot of investors or a lot of people that put homes on market, you're going to see really good numbers. And then when you actually dig into them, you go, oh, that was 10 years ago they were getting those rental numbers. They don't get those numbers anymore. So you have to do your due diligence. But this is a starting point. This is what I want to empower you guys with, that if you're interested in real estate as one of your as part of your portfolio growing up, it's a good idea. And this can happen anywhere. I mean, Kansas City, Wichita, Manhattan. Manhattan's good though. Any other questions that you might have? Yeah.
Is this all based off of Airbnb property? Like all
This
these numbers?
this number is off of Airbnb property that I just put on the market yesterday. Yeah. So I could take this formula. Obviously, I just go to my main worksheet, and as homes come on the market, I just boom, 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 put them in those cells. It takes me 5 minutes, and then I know, hey, we're working with something, or man, the numbers really suck. Yeah. And numbers suck all the time. I mean, that's also true. Like, I'm not buying investment properties every day. It takes me at least, 12 months to really get excited about something, because sellers understand this. So sellers, that's not worth $180,000. They're asking $250 for it. Another rule of thumb, I saw your hand raised over there. I'll get to it in a second. Another rule of thumb, I'll just make it really easy. If you see a house, go on your Zillow app or go to my website, start getting notified when homes start hitting the market in Manhattan, Kansas. It won't be hard. You'll figure it out really easily. But if you see an investment property close to campus, east of here, and say they're asking $200,000 for it, all you want to know, the rule of thumb is the 1% rule. Is it getting at least $2,000 a month in rent? That's it, guys. That's as easy as it gets. If it's getting $1,500, be like, okay, I probably don't need to pay that much attention to it. The numbers are probably not going to work out, right? Once I put the taxes and insurance. But if the rule of thumb is they're asking $200,000 and we're getting $2,500 a month, then I'm going, holy crap, I better get this before somebody else does. Yeah. Yeah, what was your question?
Okay, so if I want to start doing this, how should I go about getting the money?
Absolutely. Great question. Obviously, that's going to be very specific to your life. You can find somebody. I mean, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, right? I mean, I could go to someone that has money and be like, look, we'll be 50-50 partners in it. I'm going to manage it. I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to find the property, and we're still going to split the profits. You could do it that way so that you actually physically don't have to come up with the $36,000. But from an investor, from the other side, if someone comes to me and says, Derek, give me 50 grand, here's the numbers, and I don't have to do any work, you do all the thinking, you do all the due diligence, You take all the time to put the plan together, get the house under contract, blah, blah, blah. I'm totally okay with that. Like, and so many people are. If you can go to investors and say, hey, these numbers work, are you excited about them? I'll take care of everything. That's an easy sell. So that's one way. There's many, many other ways. And so interest rate and how much you have to put down, that all can shift all the time with your relationship with banks. Like I said, once you get 3 properties, I might be able to go to my banker and be like, hey, I want to go buy this property. Just take the equity out of my house. And they're like, yeah, that totally makes sense. You have a ton of equity in that other investment property. It works well. We'll go sign the papers. Then you start buying investment properties without having putting any money down, and they're making you cash. Now you're doing really well. Now your investments really start compounding on themselves. But again, investments are there's other headaches that come with investments. Like if you have tenants that are really hard on the property, that's a nightmare. They have a party, fake Patty's Day. I had one, and 300 people in the house. I mean, things got destroyed. The furnace went out. It was a nightmare, but things happen, and you learn that it's going to be okay. You're going to fix those things. You're going to get through it. Yeah.
So you had 5% accounted for in case like a tenant left early throughout the month.
The vacancy rate, yes.
Yeah. So do you see, say you've seen marketing in a couple of different areas, do you see that needing to be more accounted for in Manhattan, like an area where college students are constantly coming and going versus like Kansas City where tenants are probably a little bit more long term?
No. Manhattan has a very good retention of rentals. If you're buying the house properly, it's close to campus, it's in good shape. Your tenants are usually going to stay for the whole year. It's all about the beginning process, like making sure, hey, when you get a tenant, are they giving you their social security? Are you finding out that they don't owe other people money? They're a good tenant. They're going to sign in a 12 months lease. We're going to get a deposit. It usually works out. I'm actually curious in your opinion, like when you go out in the marketplace to find a rental, doesn't it seem like it's competitive? Don't you have to start pretty soon for next year? Am I right? Or what if you're a month away from coming here? Is it going to be hard to find a property? Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. Like we have a lot of retention in the tenant market here, which helps with your investment. Yeah. What else? Yeah.
So you were talking about Airbnbs, and so in my mind, Airbnbs are usually good in a destination kind of location, like a big city or something. But I mean, would you say there's a lot of need for them in places like Manhattan?
Yeah, I would. Usually when we think of Airbnbs, we think of this really cool Shoust? Yeah, these really unique properties. I don't know about you guys, but when I go on vacation, I usually like to just try to find an Airbnb. As long as it's nice in the photos, I'd rather be there than a hotel room. That's the trend that's going on across the nation. I listened to a podcast where the CEO of Airbnb basically says that they need 200,000 more homes in America right now. So what the customer demand that comes in is saying we need way more homes. And I think Manhattan is actually one of those proper places that we don't have a ton of Airbnbs here. So right now I think it's a good opportunity. You got to be careful though, because some cities are cracking down on Airbnbs. They're saying, hey, you can't have them in these certain areas. So you got to be careful about making investments in those areas as well. I'm actually currently working on an Airbnb for the press building. I'm buying a house next to the lot next door, and it's gonna be super gaudy. I mean, we're gonna make it a rock house. We're gonna put speakers everywhere. We're gonna put gold records everywhere. This is not gonna look like mom's home. This is gonna look like a very weird studio home. And again, the trends are people are gonna pay more money for that stay experience because they're getting something unique. And then when we have rock stars come and play at the press, they'll stay there the night. So it kind of works out both ways for what we're doing. What else? We got about 10 minutes left.
On the topic of the Airbnb, how many tenants do you have to have go through that Airbnb in a month for you to hit that projected 250 units?
Good question. Those details are what I'm interested in too. I think there are formulas, there are actually systems out there that you can go to answer those questions for you. I don't have it on me, but there are companies built to say, hey, this is my property. What kind of income are you seeing that I could get for this property? And they're going to tell you. So they're going to tell you what your vacancy rate's going to be, how many tenants you're probably going to have on average per month. Because what you'll find out is if you take a property and you put it on Airbnb, Airbnb does not want to maximize your investment. Meaning, if you have a little tiny house here in Manhattan that's an Airbnb, and you're getting about $1,000 a month, because that's what Airbnb tells you, Airbnb is okay with that. They're like, that's fine. You just put a cheap tag on that room for a night, because the more bookings they get is better for Airbnb, not better for you. Does that make sense? Like Airbnb, it's kind of like, see if like Uber has the same. All Uber cares about is making money. So they want more rides, right? Because the more transactions, the more money happens. Same thing with Airbnb. Airbnb is going to tell you a lower per night stay rate, because if you go high, because you control that, Airbnb doesn't control that. You say, hey, I want to get $150 a night, and then you get no bookings. Well, Airbnb hates that, right? Because they want bookings. So you have to go to these outside sources that will actually tell you how to maximize what you can raise your rent to. It's very interesting. I'm kind of learning myself. I don't know if that answered your question, but I said it anyways. All right, guys, what else? Any other questions there? Cool. Yeah.
Sorry, I have another
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so for those examples, because I know a big starter point is, finding a way to get the money or taking that loan or whatever. So what happens if, a tornado hits or something? Like, where does that oh shit fund come from? Or like this fake Patty's example you used.
Yeah.
Where does that 30 grand come from in repairs?
Yeah, I would highly suggest that, it would be good to not have $0 in your bank account when you go to invest. You should be making a little bit of money and as you make money in the property, I would just make a different bank account and just start putting all the rents in there so that you can kind of see, like, how is this investment performing? You're like, okay, now I got $30,000, after 4 years, I got $30,000 in there. Now I can maybe start working on some exterior improvements, or maybe that one of the bathrooms needs to be remodeled. So that's usually how I've been doing it over the years, is I just kind of let that money kind of sit in there and kind of use it at my discretion of, say, something bad happens. Luckily, if you have done your due diligence at the front end of the leasing with the tenants, that's usually how you can kind of weather a lot of the storms. Yeah, and be careful of the helicopter parents. Be careful of they're actually called, I don't think they're called helicopter parents anymore. I think they're called lawn mowing parents, because they'll actually mow the lawn for their kid. Like they will take over. You experience any of that? Yeah. They're going to job interviews. They're negotiating the salaries. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, any other questions?
So, not to completely derail from real estate, but since we are on the chapter of like building teams within entrepreneurship and creating our network, can you speak on that? Because I know that you have built a really great team. You have business partners. You do an amazing job at networking. What does that look like in your line of work?
Yeah.
And how has that built your life?
That's where I was going to go. So I know for the last 7 minutes, guys, if you could hold on for a second, I'll give you what I got. Hopefully this adds value to you. In real estate, all you have to do is have a tiny network to make a good income. What I mean by that is, the system that I run, if you have one family, that's going to equal to $1,000 in your bank account every year. So if you want to make $100,000, you got to have 100 families in your database and work them to make $100,000 in a year. This system is proven year in, year out. So don't think that when you go out to become an entrepreneur or whatever business you're entering into, like you have to capture the entire city. No. The great thing about a real estate job is I get to go to work and think about my friends and family here in Manhattan that I like, and they like me, and we like hanging out, and we just network with each other. All I do is I take care of them. The main rule is to be top of mind with your friends, family, and people that know you. Everybody knows 4 realtors. You probably know way more than 4 realtors. So how do you know which realtor you're going to choose? The NAR, National Association of Realtors, studies this all the time. You're going to use a realtor based off of who you know last. That's what top of mind means. So to stay top of mind with your sphere and the people that I know, I have to be in contact with them 36 times a year. I know this is getting kind of in the weeds here, but what that means is I have to have a system where I contact my database 3 times a month. And I do that automatically in many different ways. 2 of those ways are going to be automated. I know we all hate junk mail and we all hate mailers, right? But guess what? It works. You got to get over it. If you're going to be in marketing, those things work. That's why you get those things, because it works. It makes money for the company that pays for the marketing to do those things. So I have automated email and mailers that go out every month. I don't ever have to think about that. And then that third touch with my COI, I'm doing things like I'm calling people. I'm going out to lunches. I'm having coffee with my friends. I'm giving them real estate reviews. I'm adding value to the investment that they have. One thing people think about realtors is they think that all we do is talk about real estate. It's actually the last thing that I want to talk about when I'm around people. It's great for me and my family. It feeds my family, but it's the last subject that I really want to get into. I want to know about you spiritually. I want to hang out with you. I want to know what's going on with your family. That's my job. So it's really fun. So that's how I create a network. And last but not least, the one thing that will change your life out of anything that I said today, if you're going to invest in real estate or if you're thinking getting into real estate, this activity will transfer to every industry that you guys are getting into. Write 2 personal note cards every day. We live in a world that talks with text messaging and social media, and that is not a personal touch with people. It's not. I mean, you can do it in creative ways, but it's not personal. If you write a note card, 2 every day, with the people in your sphere, maybe your sphere is not big, maybe you only know closely 30 people. I guarantee you, if you start your day writing 2 note cards, and you can put whatever you want on those note cards. I was just thinking about you. And then you actually spend time and start your day thinking about other people than yourself. You're going to find that day is going to be a little bit brighter. It's going to be a little bit clearer. You're going to start off with your step a little bit lighter, because I know you already start your day thinking about yourself. You start your day thinking about all the things that you're going to dread for that day, or all the things that you're not excited about. So get out of that mindset. It takes work, but if you write 2 note cards a day, you're going to see this gigantic impact on the people around you. One, they're going to be like, weird, I got mail from my friend Kevin. He never talks to me through mail. It's very effective. I know it seems so silly. Here's the other fact. All the people that you're competing with in your entrepreneurship jobs, they're not going to write those note cards. They're going to make up 1,000 different reasons why they shouldn't write those note cards. I don't know what to say. I don't want to start my day doing that. I got other things to do. And guess what? I make a lot of money because I do the simple things. I just do those little things that other people won't do, but it's not hard, and it's actually very beneficial. 2 note cards a day. Anything else? I think we're almost there.
Yeah.
Any last questions about real estate or even entrepreneurship, about what you're excited? Because I see a whole bunch of different things. Yeah.